In the fall of 2024, the Tampa area saw the worst flooding in the past 100 years. Hurricanes Helene, Hurricane Milton, they hit the area super hard. And actually my house got hit pretty hard too, almost 40 inches of water in there. But people keep asking me, what's it like after all these storms? Are people recovering? What's happening to the market? What's happening to insurance? How did the FEMA like 50% rule pan out? So I want to hit on all those things in this video and show you exactly how my house is coming along. We're almost done again. So certain areas were definitely affected more than others. I'm actually in Tarpon Springs right now, right here on Pineapple Street. I own a house on this street. And a lot of people I know on the street were really, really affected. There's very few houses actually on these 3 or 4 blocks that were not flooded. And you see houses coming up for sale. This one right here is for sale, it flooded. This one here on the corner for sale. On the next corner, they sold while they still had all the drywall cut out of them. There's a lot of different situations like that. And a lot of people just wanted to move on after the flooding was this bad. And when the flooding is this intense, people are worried about a couple things, right? Obviously, their stuff got ruined, their house got ruined, they need to do everything over again. Their insurance might go up, their insurance might get dropped. What if they do need to sell it later? Would they even be able to sell it? So they just cut their losses and go. A lot of these people have been in the area for a long time, so their losses weren't even really losses. Just like myself, like still have quite a bit of equity on that house that I own. Even though it's flooded twice, I'll be able to sell it definitely for less than I could have sold it before it flooded, but I'm okay with that. I do get asked pretty often how this will affect insurance premiums, and the reality is we just don't know yet. My insurance premium on my house that flooded, it went up before Hurricane Idalia, and the storm that actually affected these areas the worst was Hurricane Helene, because it was just far enough off the coast and big enough to where it caused massive flooding in this area. And I'm talking storm surge, close to 8 feet. My house is 5 feet above sea level and there were over 3 feet of water in there. So definitely 8 feet of surge. This house, for example, did not flood. Built up higher, it's for sale right now. I've always loved that house. It's probably my favorite house in this whole neighborhood. Cool brick paved roads and a lot of potential, but some of these are right around it did flood. Now, that's a question that comes up often is like, if you are buying and maybe you're not required to have flood insurance, but you're right on the edge of a flood zone, is it gonna get remapped? Maybe, maybe not. This one right here on the corner also did not flood. They have a basement actually, which is kind of old school for this area where they can pump the water out. But as you go around the corner, more and more of these houses were damaged, and some people are staying, some people are going. Okay, so real quick on the FEMA 50% rule, because that is something that came up a lot right after these storms. So what that means is if you have more than 50% damage of the assessed value, so say your assessed value of the building is $200,000, if it's gonna cost you $100,000 to fix it, then they're gonna make you bring it all up to current codes. This area that I'm in right now is a historic district, which is exempt from that kind of a rule. This house right back here, flooded on the bottom. They have living quarters on the top too. This one right here did not flood. I'm gonna say hi to Bill real quick. So because this area is a historic district, they're exempt from the 50% rule, meaning even if it costs, 100% of their assessed value of their building, they could still fix it if they want to. But a lot of towns were really impacted by this, the fear around the FEMA 50% rule, thinking that they're gonna have to tear down their house or they're gonna have to elevate it or those kind of things. And what happened actually is each town enforced this on their own. Of course, FEMA doesn't have the capacity to go to every little street that flooded and assess whether or not they should be hit with this 50% rule. So each individual town did it themselves. Here in Tarpon Springs, they actually hired an inspector, like a third-party inspection company to do it, and it was actually pretty smooth. But as these houses come up on the market, it is a unique dynamic. Now, they do seem like they're going under contract and getting offers, and maybe people are just not quite ready to cut their prices enough for it to move. This one in particular, they sold after the last storm. Now they got fixed again. Now the person that owns it is reselling it. But some people around here are not planning to sell at all. They're fixing them, moving back in, and they're very happy to be back in their homes. But it takes a while to get all this work done, that's for sure.
So here in my house, we're actually pretty close to wrapping up renovations. They'll start on refinishing the terrazzo tomorrow. Then there's just little finishing touches. We'll, touch up the paint after that. We'll, put a new faucet in one of the bathrooms. We'll wrap up the landscaping, and then we can list the house. Prior to all this flooding, I could have sold this house for about $430,000. Actually, it was under contract for $430,000 back before Hurricane Idalia hit. While it was under contract, it flooded. We fixed it up. Obviously, it's a lot nicer now. Everything's brand new. Everything's like really unique, but it flooded. Now it's flooded twice. I plan on listing it for $399. Now prices have gone up quite a bit since it was under contract for $430. So I'm going to list it pretty aggressive at $399 because I want to sell it. I think it's a great house for somebody. Now, the likelihood of it flooding again, I have no idea. I'm not going to speculate about that. I have no idea. I'm curious kind of what people think about that. I think there are big groups of people that are not as nervous about flooding as some of us. And now that I've been through it a couple times, it's not a huge deal to deal with, but if you're dealing with it every year, every couple years, it's a major, major headache. I'm curious what other questions you all might have about post-hurricane stuff. Like obviously, not a whole lot of houses were damaged. Now, more than ever, more than in the past 100 years. But when you look at the whole Tampa area, 3.5 million people, 1 million houses, like of that million, not that many were damaged. Probably about 10% of those homeowners were affected, meaning they had to leave, they lost power. It gets a lot smaller when you look at substantial damage. Now, not just substantial damage like the FEMA 50% rule, but even like this house didn't hit the 50% rule, but everything had to be replaced. It's 10 to 20,000 houses like that. Now, a lot of those are gonna come on the market. A lot of those have been sold with the drywall still cut out, and people want to update it to live there, or people want to flip it, renovate it and then sell it because they were able to buy it at a pretty big discount. I'm curious kind of what the market will look like as a lot of these post-flood homes come on the market and sell, as we have a new comparable of if it flooded. But as always, we'd love to be your real estate resource here in the Tampa area. Give us a call, text, or email anytime with any questions, any concerns. Our team will get back to you right away. And as always, thanks for going by.